Today, I wanted to share with you a little bit about a topic that can be sensitive for a lot of people. I'm actually not sure I'm going to show you the video, but if you're watching this, then you can be sure that I prayed about it some more and sought input. I was in a workshop recently with some other women who are in the business world, and the focus is how do we excel, grow with a Christian mindset. And the topic of accountability came up. Yes, that is the topic. One of them shared that they were watching a talk show, and I can't remember the show, but on the talk show, they were talking about your girlfriend who calls you out. Recently, I was in a Bible study with a woman who wants to be part of the fellowship, and we were talking about the church and the importance of the church. And she shared, I don't need to be out there floundering. I need accountability. It's funny how when a topic comes up, it sort of keeps coming your way. And I received a couple magazines in the mail. One's a leadership development magazine. And in it, this business owner was asked a question. And the question was, what gave you the drive to keep going and reach your goals day after day? And the answer was accountability. At the end of each day, we would get back on the phone with each other to review what we did that day and make our plans for the next day. You've got to be honest with each other. Remember, your accountability partner is there to remind you what you're capable of. And then in another magazine, this was an interview with a woman named Ellen Goodwin, who is a productivity expert. Didn't know there was such a thing. Author and speaker. And she talks about the importance of the morning ritual and what you do in the morning, how you start your day. One of the questions she was asked was how you limit distractions in the morning. And part of her answer was accountability. And she said, I have things scheduled with others for accountability, whether it's a walk with a friend, a phone call, or an email with an accountability partner discussing what I'm going to accomplish that day. Now, I'm not sharing these things with you to say, oh, that's what we all need to do. I just thought it was interesting that two magazines that had nothing to do with each other referred to accountability partners as if everybody knew what they were talking about, like it's a given. And I started to think, gosh, why is nobody thinks twice about it in the business world. When you go to the gym or you have certain fitness goals, you expect to be held accountable. When it comes to our financial planning, we want accountability. We want to be held accountable for our goals. And I thought, well, why is it so acceptable in those areas, but it can be so sensitive when it comes to spiritual things or personal growth? And part of it, I know some of you are thinking, because it can be done wrong and bad and poorly. And that is true, absolutely. But it can be done poorly in every area. Do you know anybody who had to go to college an extra year because of poor accountability from their academic advisor? I do, and it was not free. Fortunately, it was not one of our kids, but I do know that that's happened. Or somebody who is in a bad loan because of poor accountability from their financial advisor. That's happened. So obviously, yes, it can be done poorly in every area. So I recognize that, and I'm not trying to be flippant. There is a proverb that says, and it is Proverbs 27, verse 6. And it says, wounds from a friend can be trusted. And I thought, wow, you know what the key word there is? Friend. We need to have friends in our life, people that we trust, and we trust their input. I really appreciate, there was a sister in our small group this week, and she was open about the fact that she said, I need friends. I need people to help me. And so she's purposely going after several sisters to build a friendship with them. And I thought that took so much humility for her to be open about that, but also for her to be the one initiating those relationships. Honestly, not knowing if those friendships are going to come to fruition or not, but she said, I've pinpointed a couple sisters and I'm just going after it. And I really respect that. In Hebrews 10, and we've read this before together, but in Hebrews 10, starting in verse 19, it says, "Therefore, brothers and sisters, since we have confidence to enter the most holy place by the blood of Jesus, by a new and living way opened for us through the curtain, that is his body, and since we have a great high priest over the house of God, let us draw near to God with a sincere heart and with full assurance of faith, having our hearts sprinkled to cleanse us from a guilty conscience, and having our bodies washed with pure water. Let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess, for he who promised is faithful. And let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching." So, what's my hope and my prayer for us? We're continuing on with the power of one and our one decisions. And back at the beginning of 2020, most everybody shared, yes, I want to be in a one another relationship. And some of us are in that, and some of you are maybe still trying to figure that out. But I want to encourage you, take some time with God and simply pray and ask him, God, who do you, and how do you want me to spur another sister on to love and good deeds? Who do you want in my life to help spur me on to love and good deeds? Who do you want me to be in a relationship with where we can encourage one another, and all the more as we see the day approaching? So let's go after those friendships and those meaningful relationships. Don't be afraid. Have a great week.